Greetings and God's peace be with you. My name is Kristofer Lindh-Payne, and I'm one of the co-rectors at St. Francis Episcopal Parish and Community Center. As promised, this week's reflection from me is on the vows that I'm preparing to take as part of the Anglican Order of St. Francis. This is a process that I've been a part of for 7 years, and the 2-year novitiate that I have been being formed through is coming to an end at the start of June, when I make vows as part of profession as part of the order. In the wider church, these vows within religious life are understood to be poverty, chastity, and obedience. But I really have always loved the beautiful way that this Anglican order reads and interprets those vows and brings present-day expression to them in ways that really, that speak to me deeply. Just the idea that I can be a husband, that I can be a father within my family, that I can serve as a priest in our St. Francis Episcopal Parish and Community Center community, and that I can also be a friar in this order. And it's a really beautiful thing as I experience God working in and through me in this way. And so the first vow that we take as part of this order is called the Vow of Poverty, but within our order, it's understood to be a vow of simplicity. You know, the world that we live in is full of complexity, and there are many ways that our lives are just inundated with all sorts of stuff. Over the last years, many of my reflections have been about just removing these barriers that exist between us and the world around us, us and God, us and the people we care about. But I really like this read on simplicity, that it looks deeply into our scriptures. There are many places where Jesus invites his followers to give away the things they have, to sell them and give the money to the poor, so that they and we can follow him. For some people, that can take some very radical forms, but I think all of us could benefit from living this vow of simplicity that recognizes that there really is very little that we need to live. And when we recognize that, when we recognize our real dependence, our real needs have to do with God and the relationships we have, that there are many things that are actual barriers to those deepening those relationships. So how we remove those material things from our lives doesn't mean that we don't need to have anything. It doesn't mean that we don't eat or live in a home or have things around us. It just means that our relationship to them changes. In this world where consumption and greed and materialism really drive so much of this present-day society we live in a time when we are faced with climate change realities that really on a regular basis are negatively impacting the people and creatures of this world. By making these promises, these vows around simplicity, and choosing to live with less, it makes it possible for others to live and have more abundant lives. So in the act of living simply, this is also meant to be an expression of just how we stand against forces of consumerism and other ideologies that really, that invite us to just really take and take and take without giving, without sharing of ourselves. You know, I think there's so much of our culture that really compels us, because it in many ways it is a compulsion to buy, and that we need these physical things to really help us feel whole. Jesus, in his own day, showed us a new and different way, and the world that we live in has changed so drastically. Our dependence on so many material things has become the focal point of many of our lives. And so when we think about how we are stewards of creation, how we care for this world that God has given us to serve as stewards for, by living simply, we can really reorient ourselves in a way that is aligned with God's presence in our lives, that's aligned with a right ordered way of being within creation. So as you think about what it means to live simply, I invite conversation with you about that there are many ways that we can do this. And I struggle a lot myself with what this looks like and what it looks like to be a part of a family, as I try to live simply, as I try to remove lots of things from my life so that I can be in deeper relationship with you and the people that I care about. I also think about this vow of poverty when I focus on the work that we're doing through St. Francis Episcopal Parish and Community Center. When I think about those that really do not have enough to live. And so when we really focus our attention on those that do not have enough, it invites us to really to shift the way that we live, to think about what we can share in ways that not only change the lives of the people that we're in community with, but also change our own lives. When Jesus invited the rich young ruler to give away everything he had, to sell that and give it to the poor and come and follow him, we know from the gospel accounts that he wasn't able to do that, at least at that time. But so many people that have come after have been able to remove those barriers between themselves and following Jesus in this radical way. The person of St. Francis of Assisi did that in a really beautiful, beautiful way. And for us who've chosen to pattern our lives after the saints Francis and Clare of Assisi, what are the ways that we can take this step together, that we can simplify our lives, can be connected and live in solidarity with those that do not have enough, and orient ourselves as part of God's creation in ways that recognize our dependence on God and on one another. So as I continue this journey of understanding these vows for myself, I hope that I've given you some things to think about, and perhaps we can talk about in the days and weeks and even years to come. I appreciate your prayers, and please know that I pray for you as God continues to guide us forward. Until next time, Christ's peace be with you.